What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV, and today we're going to talk about the things to know while visiting Hong Kong. Let's do it. Let's talk about the main attractions here in Hong Kong, in particular, the top things to do. So, I'm here at Lantau Island at the Big Buddha. This is Tian Tin, Big Buddha. Another thing to do is go to the top of Victoria Peak. They have a funicular car that you can take, which is a cable car. It's a tram that you can ride up. Speaking of trams, they also have trams that go along Hong Kong Island. They're called Ding Dings, okay? If you want to ride one of those. Another thing to do is go to some beaches, Repulse Bay and several other beaches near Stanley and Stanley Market. Check out that area on the other side of Hong Kong. Now, when you're over in Kowloon side, be sure to check out the Avenue of the Stars, and also going to Temple Street Market, walking around that area. They have a few cool neighborhoods and some malls. All right, now let's talk about the arrival process into Hong Kong. There's several ways to get in here, but if you're coming from outside of China, you will more than likely arrive at Terminal 1. And at Terminal 1, you will you will disembark, go on a tram, and then process immigration. And as far as the forms, right now in July 2023, you do one custom form when you get there. That's it. They don't ask you very many questions at immigration. You don't get a passport stamp. So that's just the way it is. They don't even tell you how long you're supposed to stay. But the answer to that is up to 6 months, because Hong Kong is an SAR, it's semi-autonomous region of the People's Republic of China. So you get 6 months here without a visa. If you wanted to stay longer, you would need a visa. There is an airport express that you can get for around 250 or 300 Hong Kong, and that takes around 30 minutes to get from the airport on Lantau Island all the way to central Hong Kong Island. Now let's talk about the weather here in Hong Kong. I'm here during July. There actually was a Typhoon Signal 11 recently, about 2 days ago. But generally speaking, it's very hot, muggy, and humid in July and in the summertime. And most of the time, Hong Kong is actually really hot. But there is a time during December, January, March, February, that time frame, where it can get a bit brisk and chilly. So if you're arriving in January or February, March, consider bringing a jacket to stay warm, because it could get chilly. Now let's talk about the currency. So it is the Hong Kong dollar. It is not the renminbi or the yuan. Some places will take that, but generally speaking, they still very actively take the Hong Kong dollar. Right now, $1 US equals 7.81 Hong Kong dollars, okay? So when it comes to cards usage, like I said, you can top up the Octopus card and use that, or you can use your Visa or American Express, MasterCard. I've seen that widely available here. So I would like to say cash withdrawals at the ATMs are very difficult in Hong Kong. All right, now let's talk about the metro system getting around Hong Kong. As you can see, I'm here at one of the stations. They have stairs, they have escalators, and they have a lift. So 3 different ways to get up and down out of this deep subway system. Now, you do need an Octopus card, and when you buy the Octopus card, it's 200 Hong Kong, which comes out to around $30 to $35 depending on the currency exchange. And you pay 50 Hong Kong for the deposit, 150 goes towards your actual pass. And I believe you can also use the Octopus card at restaurants and even on some of the trams and buses and the ferries. The elevators come in handy because you may have some luggage, as you can see. Now the rule for riding the escalator is standstill traffic on the right and then moving traffic on the left. You'll see people are walking, so if you plan to stand still, be on the right. It does get quite busy in here, so keep that in mind, especially during rush hour, like 6 p.m. as it is now. People are getting off work. But yeah, the subway system itself is very deep. You can see it's gone multiple levels to get to the top here. Hong Kong does have many of these overpasses, so get used to walking over overpasses or underpasses to get across the road. Sometimes you can actually cross just like this. let's talk about some interesting facts about Hong Kong. So it is a special administrative region for China. It is part of China, but it operates with its own currency and has its own separate kind of rules, although it is definitely part of China, so keep that in mind. Now, another thing, the two languages that are spoken here commonly are Cantonese and English, and every time I've come back since 2006, it seems like more and more people are speaking Cantonese and less English. So, used to be able to come here and lots of English spoken, not so much anymore. Another thing to know is that it is 426 square miles, this whole area. Not very big, but big enough. And you have mainland China, which is where I'm standing right now. This is Kowloon. If you look right over there, that is Hong Kong Island. And then there's several other islands like Lantau Island and a few others just out there. That's where the airport is, actually, Lantau. So now let's talk about ordering food here in Hong Kong. It's quite common for them to hand you a QR code for you to scan and place the order from your phone. So I ordered a strawberry milk. It's like milk with strawberry. So I guess you could call it a milkshake. It's got some pork here with rice and scallions. This is laksa with Hainanese chicken. We got some black pepper tofu here. It's like a dim sum. This here is actually a duck spring roll. You can see the duck meat. It's actually really good. I just had a piece. And here is shumai. This is crab and shrimp shumai. Okay, we got pork ribs with pineapple. They're kind of sweet. So let's give it a try here. Beef bulgogi here. I got 10 fish balls for 20 Hong Kong. That's fast food. Okay, so I'm doing dim sum and I've got shrimp dumpling right here. And then Khao Gao, which is another shrimp dumpling. Lots of shrimp today. Thank you. Now here we have Sichuan hot and spicy dumpling. And now we have steamed spare ribs in black bean sauce. Next up, let's talk about the hotels and accommodation here. The average price for a hotel on the low end is going to be around 100 US. The prices go up from there. It's not a very cheap city. The best way to save money is going to be on the outskirts of Kowloon or on the outskirts of Hong Kong Island, but bear in mind it is a very expensive place and the hotels are very small. In the case that you get a luxury accommodation, you will be able to get bigger rooms if you pay for the price, but yes, hotels in Hong Kong, very expensive and small, but great views typically. So I want to talk about the size of Hong Kong, or what you need to know about the special administrative region. It's basically a bunch of islands, and then you have Hong Kong and mainland China, which is Kowloon. Some of the surrounding islands are going to include Lantau Island, which is where the airport is. You have Llama Island, and then you have a bunch of different islands out there in the ocean towards, going towards Japan or Taiwan, even the Philippines area, the South China Sea. But going out to Macau, you can also do that, which is another island, although that is not part of the Hong Kong SAR. It's another SAR. Now let's talk about safety here in Hong Kong. So it is ranked as one of the safest cities in the world. So don't worry about too much in terms of safety here. I think it's number 18 by Ranking Royals. And if you look at several other lists, it does rank very high. Even people who come to Hong Kong, they say, I think this is one of the safest in the world, or it is the safest in the world. But then you have to look at Qatar, you have to look at Dubai, Zurich, some of the other safe places around the world, Tokyo. But yes, Hong Kong, very safe. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't crime that exists. There are some scams that you may encounter. Typically, it's petty crime, not too violent crime. The times that I did see some accidents here in Hong Kong, it was because of the transport system. Someone got hit by a tram, I saw that. But for the most part, riding the MRT is safe, riding taxis is safe. I did notice taxis do speed a lot, which could be dangerous. So that could be something to keep in mind, getting in some of these crazy taxis. But overall, I would say, yes, very safe city. There are some seedier areas that may have a little bit more scams, but don't worry too much about Hong Kong in terms of safety. But walking dark alleyways anywhere, never a good idea. So take general precautions, but don't get too hung up on safety in Hong Kong. When it comes to communication out here in Hong Kong, you're definitely going to want to download Google Translate. Now, the two languages that you should have already downloaded into the Google Translate folder there in the app is going to be Cantonese and Mandarin, primarily Chinese simplified. Just have that one ready to go because they do speak some English. Many of the signs are still in English, but a lot of the people definitely speak Chinese, Mandarin, Cantonese. So keep that in mind when you get here. But don't worry, the signs are going to be still in English. It's just a matter of communicating with everybody. I found that using the Google Translate microphone seems to be the fastest and most efficient way to communicate. When it comes to tipping, it is actually considered not something you have to do here. As a foreigner, it's something you're used to. But if you talk to anyone who's Chinese or from Hong Kong, they will tell you you should not do that. Because when you do that, it changes the culture away from the way it is. And someone would say, well, you should always take care of someone who takes care of you for customer service. But that's not the culture out here. So I talked to several Chinese about it. They don't believe in tipping because they get paid a minimum wage or whatever their salary is, and that's that. So they've complained about it to me, how they went to America and they had to tip. That's not something you do here in Hong Kong. Now, some people do tip anyways. You can be that person, but it's typically around like 10%. And I'm telling you this because I've talked to Chinese about this, people from China and locals. If you're looking for nightlife in Hong Kong, you're going to find it in several different areas. Long Kwai Fong is the primary area that you'll want to go. Just down the street from there is another area called Soho. You can check out that whole area. It's basically 3 or 4 blocks going up the hill. They have an escalator that helps you get up that hill in some cases. So that's the main area, Long Kwai Fong and Soho. And then there's also another area for like expats that are a little bit older. So the young people go to Long Kwai Fong. The older people go to like Wan Chai. And then if you go over to the Kowloon side, all the way up until about midnight, it's a very bustling place. It's not a lot of bars, but it's a lot of restaurants and a lot of people out and about living their life in Kowloon side. There's also Temple Street Market, Temple Street, just that area. So check that out.